So I will present current developments, and this is mostly done by people that you see here. So Sébastien Bardot, Victor De Sousa Megales, Jérémy Boissier, Kirsten Kramer, and we are missing Emmanuel Régnier, who is a very important part of one of the two projects. Okay, so let me start with the challenges for the coming decades in software. So we've seen that we are going to even wider bandwidth. So both by larger instantaneous bandwidth, 20 gigahertz, but in fact by doing also dual bands observations. And then the other axis of development is trying to improve wide field imaging. So both by doing multi-beams and on the fly, interferometric on the fly. And last but not least, there is another axis that is we see that polarimetry is opening in many instruments, and this will become routinely in the next decade, I guess. So also there are new kind of research, and this is important when you're developing software. First, today, 20 years ago, we only have small programs. Today, we have large programs that runs over 4 years that are pretty complex to develop and to reduce and so on. And so this needs to be taken into account. And there is also archival research that is developing. And so this needs to be taken into account. And this has been already touched. There is new hardware, new computing hardware that are coming in. So I'm speaking about the multi-core CPU versus GPU, but there are other alternatives. There is also something that is important for standard astronomer like me. That is, you have access to machines with different, with very different amount of RAM, and it's always useful to be able to do things that may not fit in the RAM of your laptop, if you have time. And the other stuff that is happening in the field is the fact that I think the habit of interacting with data is changing. We need big data servers and big computers, and so those are expensive. And so we see that we are encouraged to go to data centers, data and computing centers. And so there are question of queues and stuff like that. But on the other hand, I don't think that local PC will disappear. And I think that, in fact, we will, even if it's not yet the case today, we will have requests to do things on pads and to interact with data on pad and cellular phones in coming with the increase with 5G. I think this is coming. And finally, there are new requirements in the usage of data. So first, because of wide bandwidth, wide field imaging and polarimetry, we have now, we are dealing routinely with large data cubes. But in fact, it's even worse than this, because the data cubes does not come from the same instrument always. And so the data can be heterogeneous. So first, we see it with radio astronomy that's dealing mostly with spectra or cube or spectra, and optical that are coming from images, but going also to do spectra. The other stuff is we have frequency versus wavelengths, and we want to have software that are able to deal with both of them. Since 10 years, well, 15, 10 years, there are new languages that are becoming standard. So in astronomy today, it's Python, but in other domains, they are speaking a lot about Julia. So let's see what's going on. And you have new algorithm approaches like sparsity for deconvolution, neural network, texture analysis, and stuff like that. And finally, I think that one other challenge is the fact that we are used to do data reduction in our standard processes, but we see that more and more applications are based on the web, and I think we will have a mixed environment. I don't think that standard processes will disappear, but web application will certainly grow. So I will present two projects that have been sought to try to answer some of those challenges. So the first one is a software that is called Cube, and that whose goal is to deal with a large number of large data cubes that on very different machines. And the step before cubes at IRAM is that the cubes are position velocity cubes are managed through a complex combination of tasks, procedures, and commands in GILDAS, and with much manual housekeeping. And so the aim we put in this software is to be able to index many different PPV cubes, so heterogeneous if possible, so multi-line, continuum, multi-wavelength science, to be able to operate directly on cubes as a whole entity instead as a collection of images or spectra, and to simplify easy combinations because it's difficult to foresee everything that an astronomer wants to do. At the same way, we want to be able to operate on cubes as a whole entity. We still want to be able to access directly images and spectrum. And so this is another requirement. And last but not least, is always something I have in mind, is to try to develop new software to try to minimize maintenance and simplify upgrades. And this is important because the manpower we have is not infinite, and we want to keep room for innovation. So, today we have prototypes for which we have some built-in aspects. So in GILDAS currently we're using blank value, but we are going to in this new software to just use an auto number, which is a standard way today of doing this. Another built-in aspect is the fact that we have easy access to CPU, which are multi-core, so parallelism is put into it. We want to have a transparent as possible change from doing everything that can fit into memory to disk operations when the data does not fit into the RAM memory. Up to now, for cubes, we were using mostly the GILDAS data format, and then we had to transfer into FITS, but FITS today is the standard. So we are going to, it's not completely done, but we're probably going to as easy importation, much easier in the importation exportation into the cube software of FITS cubes. Another aspect is how to access the data. There are two natural ways. So PPV can be ordered in two different ways. So position velocity or velocity position. And this has an impact on performances. And some algorithms are better if you want to work on images, for instance, to do Fourier transforms, what you want is LMV order. But if you want to use in spectra, what you want is a VLM order. And so it's never easy. So there are ways, for instance, CASA is using something that is called X-array, and which is very useful when you have data with a very huge number of dimensions, because in this way, you do not privilege any of the dimension, but there is a penalty to this, is that you're never optimal. The access of data is never optimal. And so we decided to do something else, is to have a transparent access of the data in either order, and to do transposition when needed, and to try to reduce the number of transpositions. That way we are optimal for some operations. So then, of course, this is the built-in, but we wanted also to have new functionality. So in an heterogeneous world, we want to be able to easily do consistency check between the frequency axes, the grids, the spatial grids. We want to be able to do easy resampling and easy reprojections. We want to do line image and image stacking. This has been quoted this morning by Carl as the future important stuff. And we want to add also spectral fitting facility. In fact, cubes can be think about, for those who know class, some kind of class, but not built around spectra, but built around cubes. And in doing this, we decided to go to a much more modern coding practice that will minimize maintenance, so object-oriented programations. We are trying also to separate, to have a clean interface with C command language, with the idea that we will get away from C and go to Python and in a smooth way in coming years. And I don't insist. So there should be a third slide about the status of the project, but when I finish my presentation on Sunday evening, it was late. So the slide is about the status of the project, and the slide that is not there. And so the status of the project is the following one. We have pretty good prototypes. We will release it internally to IRAM astronomers by end of years, and we will make a beta release for the community, I would say in the first semester of next year. But what means beta release? It means that we will keep the possibility to change command syntax and data formats for about 1 year, okay, of the order of 1 year, in order to see if there are some optimizations that should be done. We will keep this possibility. Okay. So the second project I want to discuss is something that we've been working at IRAM for the last 10 years, is the fact that we have many projects to handle, more than 200 proposals every 6 months, and the observations, we have 2 sites that operate all the time. And the status before the observation management system was that we have various prototypes developed by astronomers and much manual housekeeping. And the goal was to optimize the end-to-end handling of the science project, to gather and rationalize the prototypes with new implementation by software engineers, and automate as many tasks as possible. And again, minimize maintenance and simplify grabs in order to keep room for innovations. And so we decided to go to a set of databases that are based on the life of a project. So we wanted to have a multi-user environment because there are PIs, there are ODs, there are referees from the committee, and so on and so on. We want to have a web interface we have different databases that communicate between each other depending on the step, but we want to have a similar web interface, to have similar look and feel for all the steps so that people can easily understand what's going on. And we didn't want it to record all the things that were, all the astronomical engines that are needed to set up a project and so on. So we are based on what we had already. So this is divided into four database, PMS, that is for proposal and preparation, submission, assessment, and rating. Then the setup preparations. So this PMS is available for NOEMA and Sortimeter. Setup preparation is available right now only for NOEMA. To follow it's mostly an internal IRAM database to follow the status of the project, or for instance, on large program for 4 years. This one will be released, well, in fact, is released at IRAM since a few weeks for the Sortimeter. And the last step will be the data managing software. So I'm running out of time. I'm just giving a bit of time scales, showing that instead of trying to do everything and to release everything a year, we decided to break the stuff into different stuff and different small pieces, and we release them as they are ready. But this means that at the same time, we need to also improve stuff when you have new hardware. For instance, when Polyfix arrived, we had 1 or 2 years of improving of what already existing. Just to give you an idea of what has been changing, this is the status of the workflow of information at the Sortimeter before OMS, meaning before 2010. So you see that in white you have the user, the human, and in orange you have the different tools that were prototypes. And in fact, they were not communicating. They were computing, all those tools were computing were human and not between them. And so this means that, for instance, the scheduler had a very important roles in transferring information from one tool to the other and between stuff. Now the status is completely different. The scheduler is one user as any other, proposer, scheduler, PC member, observers, pool managers, and the informations are transferred automatically from one step to the other, from one database to the other. So it's much easier, much simpler infrastructure. And it's not completely finished. We still have a few databases that are not completely included into this system, but it's huge simplifications. To give you a bit, I have okay, I have 0 temps. Okay, so I will skip this. And I will just, I have 2 slides showing what are the next steps. So the next steps is for the data management system is to start delivering calibrated visibilities to PI through databases and the associated calibration reports. So this will start early next year, and my estimate is that this will be done in 1 year time scales. And the second is the work that we are doing in collaboration for the last year with Observatoire de Paris, is to try. So we have at IRAM, we have a database that is public of large program reduced data. But it's not easy to see what's going on into this data. And so the idea is to use YAFIT visualization tool of cubes to be able to expose those large programs directly to the web, so that people would not have to download the data. They would be able to see what's in this data on the web. Thank you.
Thank you, Jérôme. There is a question from Laurent.
Yes, I was told that HDF5 file format is much more efficient than FITS format to handle heterogeneous data. Do you have plans to put I/O for HDF5 files to start help the community to move away from FITS, which starts to be aging?
No, we don't have plans because we are an observatory, so what we need is to serve the community, not to our role is not to make the community change it a bit. If the community wants to get this will come, but frankly now at ESO they have just made their new VO format, and it's based on FITS. So I don't see the astronomy getting away from FITS very soon.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.